Alright, so what we have here is a motor mount bracket off of a four-wheeler. And I noticed that the motor was kind of ticking and clanking around and shaking a lot more than it should be. So looks like this bracket broke. So today I'm going to try to weld this back together. So I have a Campbell Housefield pretty low-end welder, and it's fairly old. But anyways, I'm going to see what I can do to try to weld this. It's the only thing I got. So this is about an eighth inch thick, I think. So I cleaned it off a little bit, and I'm probably going to have to really, grind down these edges and get it a little bit thinner in that area. Kind of put a V in the area that I want to weld, so I can get the material's thinner and the welder may be able to attach these two. So that's what I'm gonna try to do. I'm gonna, like I say, probably grind down these edges a little bit and go from there. Alright, so I went ahead and grinded off some of the paint in the area that we're gonna be trying to weld, and I ground off a nice spot here to put my welder lead on. And I don't know if that'll show up, but I chamfer that edge on both pieces quite a bit just to reduce the amount of material that we're going to try to join there. So that's what I did, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so here's kind of my setup. I did a little practice run here just to see what to get. Obviously there's no penetration on that weld to that big thick piece of metal with this light duty welder, but so I have a couple magnets under here, and of course I ground that off. I cleaned this all off with a wire brush, and yeah, so I'm gonna try to tack a couple just the way that it's, it's broke right there in the corner, so it's hard to get lined up, but a couple magnets holding it. I think I'm gonna tack a couple spots and then probably take out the magnets and then try to weld all that. So there's my setup. Alright, so here's kind of the first pass at it. I don't know. I don't know if it's any good or not. We'll see. I'll probably clean it up, grind it down. I'm going to flip it over and try to weld on the inside as well. I mean, it looks like it got pretty hot, and it's just a really tall bead of weld there. So I don't know if it actually penetrated the metal and fused it together, or if it's just the weld material kind of beading up there. So we'll see. I'm gonna flip it over and do the other side, and then probably clean it all up and do I don't know, hammer test or drop it a few times and just see how well it holds up. All right, so there's the inside where I welded, and then you can kind of see that. So it doesn't look good, which I wasn't expecting it to, because I rarely weld, and I just don't do this. And the welder that I have obviously is not anything special. So did hit this a few times. So it seems like it's held. And again, it's a bracket for a four-wheeler for a motor mount, so it shouldn't be taking the impact. It's going to be more fatigue related on this joint. So I think I'm going to clean it up and clean up the inside there, repaint it, and put it back on and see what happens. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a bracket like this online as a replacement. I figured it would probably be cheaper to replace it than to put a bunch of work into trying to fix it. Possibly fix it, but I couldn't find one. So yeah, I'll let me clean it up a little bit and just see what it looks like after, and we'll go from there. All right, so I got it kind of cleaned up and put some spray paint back on it. It looks okay. The weld back here is probably worse than the weld here. I think it'll hold for a little while anyways. I'm going to put it back on and see what happens. Again, what I was using, here it is. The welding amps are very low. I think standard cheap welder now you can get 100 amps, over 100 amps on a $100 welder. So this is this is probably 10 or 12 years old. I was using the flux core wire. I think it was the 030. And of course I had my gloves and helmet, long sleeve shirt, pants, yada yada. So it works. It doesn't work good. It's not not something if I was welding every day. But like I say, I haven't welded probably in I don't know, 8 years or more, and even then it was only for little dinky stuff like this. So again, it does work, just not great, but definitely be sure to to wear your safety gear when you're doing it and weld in a place where you won't catch anything on fire. But anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you learned something. One takeaway, a couple takeaways I would have. I probably would have, if I was to do this again, try to thin that out a little bit more, chamfer those edges to make the material a little bit thinner, especially for this welder, so you get a better I guess penetration between the two halves that I had. Another thing that probably could have been done, which would have been a lot more work than I wanted to do, was put some stiffeners, thinner material stiffeners in here and just weld them together. But overall, I think it worked out, and I think it'll do what I needed to. Thanks for watching.